So what is an index fund? Well, index fund can be divided into two words, index and fund. So a fund is basically just like a group of stocks and shares. And then the index component means that the fund tracks a particular stock market index. So for example, in the US, there is a very famous stock market index called the S&P 500, which is basically the top 500 biggest companies in the US. For example, at the time that I'm recording this video, Nvidia makes up 7.18% of the S&P 500. Apple makes up 6 and a bit percent. Microsoft makes up 4 and a bit percent. Other companies that you have heard of are Amazon, Alphabet, which is the parent company of Google, Meta, which is the parent company of Facebook and Instagram. And interestingly, company number 498 out of 500 is Match Group, which is the company that owns the dating apps Tinder and Hinge, which also makes up around 0.01% of the index. Now, the point of the S&P 500 index is that it gives you a single number that you can track over time to see how valuable as a whole the US stock market is. And the vast majority of the value in the US stock market is in these 500 companies. Now, if you look at a graph of the S&P 500 over time, you will see that for the most part, it goes up and to the right, which is what we like to see, but you'll see these moments of decline. And this is where you are in a recession, or you've got like the 2008 financial crisis, or you've got COVID that's just hitting, or you've got like tariffs. So the market as a whole, i.e. the sum of the value of all the different companies, goes up over time, but sometimes goes down and then generally kind of continues going back up slowly. So that is what the S&P 500 index is. Now, if you invest in an index fund, what basically happens is that the money you put into the fund gets distributed amongst the companies in the index. And crucially, this is split based on their weighting in the index. So for example, if I invested $1,000 into the S&P 500 today, in reality, what's happening behind the scenes is I've got $71.80 of Nvidia